Was also weird. Okay, now back to this guy that's given all this aggression or this just weirdly possessive sort of vibe to the lady, right? I'm in the jacuzzi and I see him get out the pool. He's bricked up. There's just a lot of absolute nonsense.
Go to the storage unit, get the car in there, drive it to Maine, I'll meet you there. Welcome to the Any Last Words pod. My name is Keion, aka Almighty the DJ.
And my name is Earl Lonnie Hooks. A very, very special thanks to everybody that will be joining us today on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, as well as YouTube. And please do not forget to follow us at ALW Pod on Instagram. The God in me honors the God in each and every one of you. OG Pod today. Just Keion and I.
Yeah, right?
Just Keion and I. What's going on, man? How we doing today?
So I know we brushed up a little bit on my trip from Philly last time, but
yes.
there was still a couple of key points that I wanted to talk about. So I told you that I was thinking about going back to the Harry Potter exhibit, and you looked at me like I had three heads. When
Did I? I thought that I may have, but I don't know about like three heads. But I was inquisitive. I was curious as to why you would want to do that.
Well, I mean, let me ask you this: what do you find weird about someone wanting to do something more than once?
Okay. No, there's something to that. The Torpedo Factory, which I've talked to you about before, and you may have gone there, and I believe it's Old Town Alexandria.
I've heard of it. I don't think I ever went there.
So what's so cool about it is it's an art center in the fact where there are I don't even know how many small art studios in it with the artists renting space, doing their art in there. And you can just walk in there and see their stuff, see how much they're selling it for. You can talk to the artist. They'll tell you about any piece or tell you anything about them that you would like to know. That's super awesome. I could see going back to that place quarterly or something like that because artists are going to be sifting through that place. They're going to be working on new things. You might go there and see the start of them working on something and then see it finished later on. Like there's like that. It's malleable, right? It's cycling through.
Yeah.
My little sister, I always used to wonder why she was going to King's Dominion like 4 times through a summer. Like she would just go there like once every few weeks. And I'm like, damn.
I mean, it's a theme park. Like
I no, listen, again, this is we can get into my weirdness because this is a little bit about what I've been thinking about throughout the week too. Okay. A little bit about my weirdness and how I don't expect for what I'm thinking to be in anyone's mind. So that always struck me as something weird as well. Like you're going to ride the same exact rides. First of all, you're going to go there and as I've heard, you're going to ride the same rides over and over again in one trip. In one trip, you're going to go get on the ride. You're going to get to the bottom. You're going to get back in line and you're going to ride it again. And you're going to get back in line and ride it again.
Well, I don't know about that.
Okay. Well, I've known some people to do that. Like they like a ride so much, they just keep doing it a few times.
Right.
So then you ride every ride in the park a couple of times. You get your funnel cakes, your cotton candy, your lemonade, whatever else it is you do there. You throw fucking baseballs at bottles and try to win the toys, whatever it is. And then you leave. And then you go back 2 weeks later. And I'm like, oh, okay, you really like this stuff. And you do all that again. And then you leave. And then you go back a month later. And so for me, I'm like, well, okay, this is still invigorating. Like you're still excited by everything that you're doing. Now, that's not my thing. I wouldn't spend money to go do that same thing over and over and over again. Go for it.
Does she have a season pass?
Also, she probably being my little sister wasn't paying for any of this shit. Okay. So there you go. So there's a huge answer for you right there. Why not do it?
Right.
When I don't have to pay for anything.
Right.
So there you go.
So I get what you're saying.
So now this exhibit you say is a limited time offer. It goes away in September, you said?
Yeah, I believe September.
Okay. You want to continue to expound on why you would like to go back?
Well, one, my trip to Philly, I realized, cause I live close like to Baltimore. Philly's like an hour and a half away from me. Like, it's nothing to get there. So that
is a huge factor.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I can get there like an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Easy. So that plays into it. You know what I'm saying? If it was like
that's almost like your drive here in traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
So, yeah.
So like if it was like a 3-4 hour drive, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to go back before it happens. Also, I'm hoping that maybe there will be some stuff different in the gift shop. You know what I'm saying? Another thing is the fact that, I wasn't going to spend all my money in the gift shop in one, sitting. I was, what I'm saying? There's stuff in there that I know I wish I could have gotten when I was still there.
Okay. This is a little bit more because again, unlike those amusement park rides that are extremely exhilarating, you're just looking at like a wand or again, I don't know what was in there, or you're looking at the staircase where Harry Potter lived under until he got, carried out by whomever.
Right.
Or you've seen the stuff. It's not going to change unless it is going to change, but normally just nothing's going to change. So I was wondering what the draw would be. Like if you get there and you see the same thing that you saw, is going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that thing. And oh yeah, I remember that too.
You know what? It's kind of like that, but here's the thing. Me and Antoinette, we have friends that are also fans of Harry Potter that also want to go. And we're just like, why not go back with them?
Okay, see, all right. See, this helps a little bit. Okay, these other things like the duration of the drive, and now you have other friends that also like to go, and you already have a pass. Or you would have to buy it again.
You got to buy it again.
But see, that's another factor in the opposite direction now. I don't know.
Okay, but it wasn't like $100 to get in there. The tickets are like $30.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Another factor working in your favor. Not too bad. Okay. See, but all I was saying, I didn't have any of these answers before.
You're right.
That's why I was looking at you.
We didn't jump into it.
Yeah.
Also, when I went, so they have morning time slots and they have evening slots. It's at the Franklin Institute, which is an actual museum.
Yes.
The evening slots are you can only go to the Harry Potter exhibit. If you go during the day, you can pay like an extra $10 and explore the museum as well. So I figured we would probably maybe try to go in the daytime next time and just go to the museum itself.
Okay. All right. So, some more points back on your side. All right. I like it. It's completely fine. Do you also just like the city of Philadelphia?
Yeah, I thought I would like to do a little more exploration around the city of Philadelphia as well. It actually reminded me a lot of DC, and I started thinking like, do all major cities just have like this Roman Greek architecture type of look, or is that just maybe an East Coast thing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or is it just like cities where like our founding fathers were at, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're thinking of sort of like the pillars and
the pillars, like that type of architecture, because there's a lot of that stuff in DC, but I also saw a lot of that in Philly as well.
Yeah.
Everything looks like like a coliseum or a cathedral
I'm certain that differs depending upon what region
I'm certain like if you go over to LA, which is one of the most populated cities in the country, I don't know much about LA, but I doubt they got like that type of architecture.
Something about LA that doesn't scream cathedral.
Right. Yeah. Founding fathers, America.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like LA's not giving me that.
Well, I mean, that architecture clearly dates back further than America, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I have no idea. We have to ask some people who just look something up, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what the things out there look like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Is there anything else about Philly?
So I didn't talk about my trip to the Reading Terminal Market.
No.
It's a huge, it's a market. It's an indoor market, like in like the kind of the center of the city. Man, it is cutthroat in there. Now granted, we did go on what day was that? That was Saturday during the day. It was packed. It's full of, there's probably like 5 or 6 cheesesteak spots in there, lines just all down the halls. There was a couple of black owned spots in there, a lot of like black art, you know what I'm saying? They were selling like handmade soaps and things like that. I had a conversation, with a gentleman in there. He was saying that, his daughter has, eczema. So his wife had started making soaps that were going to be better for her skin, and just kind of took it into a business venture.
Yep.
And I thought that was dope.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty dope. They even had like small restaurants in there with like actual seating. They had a couple of bars in there. We went in there because one, we were hungry, wanted to get something to eat. So we, took our chances at this little diner that was in there because all the like seating in like what they would call their like food court area, just people everywhere. Like you couldn't even sit down. Like it was to the point where we wanted to go in there and get like a hot pastrami, or corned beef type of sandwich. And so like we walk up to this spot, right? And like there's like these little these chairs like sitting right in front of us. Like when I say right in front of me, I mean that I was standing here. The chair was probably here where all of our equipment is.
Yeah.
So we're, kind of standing in front of the chair. One could assume that those people might be about to sit there.
Right.
Like we were that close. So we're looking at the menu, trying to decide like whether we want to sit down. There's 3 seats left. 2 guys just come up, brush right in front of us and just sit down. And I'm just sitting there just bewildered. Like what are these niggas on? What just happened? Like you literally
City life happened.
Yeah, I guess so.
Eat or get eaten.
Yeah. Like
dog eat dog world.
Pretty much. Like just bum rushed us out of the seats.
Right.
Like, it was, and like, didn't even say nothing. Like, didn't even like, hey, you guys about to sit here, or hey, excuse me, my bad. Nothing. Didn't say shit.
Nah.
Just sat there and started, it was like an older guy and kind of a younger guy, and was just like, yeah, so here's the menu. I'm probably going to go ahead and get the number 2. You decide what you want to get. And we just standing there, just right behind him. Like a nigga, my dick might have been on his back.
Right,
like,
for sure. Yeah, no, you were in Philly. I didn't think you were about to get any Southern sensibilities over there.
So that happened. But, the reading terminal market, it's an amazing place, man. It's so cool. They had like I don't want to call it a liquor store, but there was like a setup in there with like just a lot of local wines and local spirits and local beers. So we definitely bought a couple bottles of wine out of there. They had a bunch of like little candy shops, like a lot of like a Amish shops. People, make the candy themselves, like chocolate covered peanuts, Boston baked beans, things like that. A lot of freshly squeezed
Boston baked beans. This is a candy?
Yeah. You're the second person to say that to me. But it's basically just like candied peanuts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Antoinette really likes them. I'm more of a chocolate covered peanut guy myself.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of freshly squeezed juices, a lot of produce, a lot of like meat markets, fresh meats, things like that. We ended up buying like 4 or 5 pounds of like like party wings. We bought like a couple pounds of like maple bacon. It was great, man.
Maple bacon. Crazy.
Oh yeah. And you could taste it.
I'm certain.
Can taste the difference.
I'm certain.
That ain't no Walmart bacon. Like
no. That's because they probably make their own maple,
probably
like maple syrup.
Probably
just who knows how long they just let this bacon soak in it. Yeah, that's crazy.
But all the people that work there, everybody was super nice, like very attentful. But if anybody that's in the markets, you should definitely go to the Reading Terminal Market in Philadelphia. It's one of the oldest markets in the country. Actually, it's been around since like the early 1900s, I believe. Probably didn't always look the way it looks now, but it's a really cool place. If you're not claustrophobic or you don't mind being around like a bunch of people, I definitely think you should check it out.
Speaking of markets, I saw Thank You Virgin Vegans back out there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes. Sir. So
shout out to Double R.
Yeah, Thank You Virgin Vegan back out there at the Manassas Farmers Market.
Yeah, the Farmers Market.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be cool. They're starting off with some Mama Dias.
I saw that.
Yeah, first 10 mothers to get their quesadillas or their whole meal, I believe, for free.
I like the marketing, Ryan. I love it. I love the marketing.
Yeah, you got to do a little something there.
Hell yeah. That's what's up.
Shout out to the moms out there.
Absolutely.
I know that the moms and could be moms, there's a lot going on out there right now. I've been hearing some things about about abortion rights.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Go for it.
You knew that Mother's Day was coming up.
I knew that Mother's Day was coming up because I was invited to a game night.
Okay.
And then that game night invitation was revoked because they said, oh, we forgot that day was Mother's Day. We're actually going to do it the day after.
Okay.
And then I thought, oh, okay, Mother's Day's on Sunday. So that answers your question. No, but then yes. So yeah.
But yeah, the Supreme Court is looking to overturn Roe versus Wade, which is going to be insane. There's a lot that could be said about this.
Yeah, there really could. So
I personally think that people should be able to govern their own bodies. Men, women, trans, LGBTQA, all that. Everybody should be able to govern their own bodies and what they'd like to do with their bodies.
Yeah.
I'd be really asking myself, like, what is this world coming to sometimes? I was just, real quick, you good old state of Texas. They're talking about challenging the Supreme Court, ruling, that allows people to go to public school for free. Like Governor Abbott wants to overturn that. He wants to have it overturned. So what, he wants everybody to have to pay to go to school now? Doesn't that sound crazy? Huh? Got to pay to go to public school? It sounds insane to me.
So it's not even public school then? At that point, it's not open to the public.
Yeah, I guess
it's more of a private schooling. You have to pay,
and of course they throw in the whole, including children of undocumented immigrants. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that that's probably what this shit is really about. But it's so what about the people that just may not be able to afford to go? Are we just going to allow these kids to just not go to school, not learn things? They got to be homeschooled. That's not going to work out for everybody.
No.
It's just going to be a bunch of dumb, uneducated people out here. Is that what we really want? What is this? This world is going to shit. Well, maybe not this world.
What is the incentive on the other side? Money for what? Money for what?
I don't know.
Where would we like that money to go to? I mean, is that a way to try to give teachers in education system as a whole more money, funding? Because there are other ways of doing that.
I get you.
It's about a reallocation of money. That's really what needs to be done. It's sort of like
I didn't read the whole article.
Okay.
So let me not act like
we can just kind of workshop this. Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like the defund the police campaign, sort of ideology in people's mind. When you just say those words just as they are, it seems like take money away. It's not necessarily the best slogan, but maybe when you get into the depth of it, it's let's reallocate the money within the system to better training and things of such sort, right? So that's a better way of looking at it. So it's always about a reallocation of money. When I've talked about the amount of money that we spend on food or other ways that we live in excess, that's what I was talking about, is reallocating the money, reallocating time. People don't think that they have time and money to do things, but if you just shifted your time and focus and money in other ways, you'd figure out that you actually do. You're just wasting it over here in box X, Y, and Z. So we don't have to have everyone pay, and who knows how much you're talking about. Again, we'd have to go back and read the article. We clearly did not do a research for this. I didn't even know about it. But this is all freestyling. But I don't know how much they're talking about, but some people don't have any money to spare.
Some people,
they're barely getting by.
Kids out here getting free lunch. How do you think they're going to pay to go to school? For real.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, they're getting free lunch for a reason.
For a reason.
Exactly. Yeah, no.
But you would think, and I don't know if Governor Abbott's trying to overturn this for the entire United States or just for Texas. But it's a lot of people are going to suffer because of this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As well as the whole Roe versus Wade thing. A lot of women are going to suffer.
Well, a lot of everybody. It's all.
No, it's going to affect everyone.
Yeah, for sure. That's connected. We're all a part of the women are extremely important. All right. They have an extremely important, they can service an extremely important function on this planet. So, and that affects everyone and everything. Yeah. So yeah, that's bigger than just the turmoil that they may have to be going through, being forced to carry a child and all that. That's why I'm gonna be honest, my nigga. Yo, someone showed me. Oh my God! When you talk about what is this world coming to? Someone sent me a story that a young lady had posted on her Instagram. Blew my bro. I had to go back and read this thing a few times because I didn't think I was reading it right. Like I thought there was a joke in there that I didn't quite see. It was one about this person being pro-choice. I was like, all right, let's see what this is. They spoke about the decisions that they made as a younger lady and how it resulted in her becoming pregnant. I think the idea at first was to give it away for adoption when she did have the birth. And I think she may have been coerced to not do so. She was at least convinced to not do so. And she didn't. So she went through the whole 9 months, had the child. When she had the child, the guy no longer wanted to be a part of the picture. He left, continued on with life somewhere else. Now, this is like a text message thread that she has with someone that she posted on her Instagram. And they were saying, why did you decide to go through with the pregnancy? Like, if you don't mind me asking. So that's why she's relaying all this information. And said, I wanted to go to the Navy and do this and do that. I had plans. But now I wipe this little 5-year-old's ass and get him candy and food when he demands it, enough to make you want to end it all. So I'm pro-choice because I didn't have a choice. And I was trying to continue to read through, like I read through it like 3 or 4 times to try to find where like a ha he moment was in it.
Right.
But there was none.
Right.
So she, regardless of you being pro-choice or pro-life, whatever, she posted on her Instagram, yeah, but now I have to fucking take care of this little snot-nosed, shitty, demanding little boy. So that's why I'm pro-choice, because fuck this. She also, right before the I'm pro-choice because I had no choice in the first place, was my dreams of being naked on a beach somewhere at the end of all this is what keeps me moving forward. So again, that just solidified at
the end of all of what?
Her text message thread.
Okay.
At the end of this very long description as to why she went along with the pregnancy and the birth and the child that she's taking care of right now, that she fucking hates taking care of right now. And she just posted that like simply because that was attached to pro-choice. It was like a hurrah moment. And I was looking at it like, you should take this down immediately. Yeah. And someone should go check on that child and make sure that he's good. Right. Because mama's on Instagram talking about, now I got to deal with this little motherfucker. Right. Like, so yeah, I wish I had a choice back then. So that was kind of, that was kind of weird. So it gets weird on both sides of this thing. But I'm also with you. It's just kind of, I think you should just let them do what they want to do. Right. I just really think you should let them have control over their bodies. Because the whole thing is like, when is it life, right? Like pro-life. Like, when is it life? When is the fetus? When the heart's beating? Is it before that? Is it conception? People are having that sort of thing. So it's always been a long running ethical debate. I find it to be extremely hilarious ethics. And just how people even try to hash out these ethical debates, the things that they'll be on their moral high horse for in 1 second, and then in the next second be doing something completely erroneous in that regard or contradictory to that point. Like, it should just, life is weird. life is weird. It takes a lot of conversation to have. I'm not sure if we're the podcast to do it, but yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you guys.
It also bothers me when people start throwing like religion behind it, throwing the Bible in there, and you know what I'm saying? It's just like, not everybody is siding with the Bible these days,
bro. But that's the point. When you that's why belief is so strong.
Yeah, because
when you believe in something and you're going by a doctrine that is not it can't be rewritten, right? That's the whole issue with religion, right? Like, there are a lot of great things, and then there's some shitty stuff, and the whole point is when you wholeheartely believe in something that cannot be doctored, cannot be rewritten, cannot be, since the New Testament, which is why the Christianity is one of the things that continue to move on a bit, right? Because the Old Testament wasn't so happy. So the point is, if this is the structure of my life and my way of being and seeing things, what's in this book, every time we want to have a discussion, I'm going to just bring the book and be like, well, the book says this. It's like, well,
yeah, but you can't like slam that on everybody else though.
But but that's the whole point, is there's a framework issue there. So this is the framework issue right here. And this is when I started to come along with this realization. This is when I stopped feeling as though it was my job to enlighten people. If you don't believe in something logical, like if logic and reasoning and rationale doesn't matter to you, right? Like, you don't really find value in that, then by that, I cannot give you something rational or reasonable or rational to describe to you why what you're thinking is incorrect, or why it's flawed, or why it needs refinement. Like that is the issue. I can't use those things because you don't care about those things.
Right.
And the only way to get people to understand things is either just through emotion or through rationale, through understanding. But again, I can't use those things with you. So it doesn't even matter. Like, you're stuck in a box. I can't help you out at all. There's no understanding to be had. So if someone's coming to you and it says right here, the rules say, right? Let's forget about like a Bible. I have a list and the rules say X, Y, and Z. And I say, well, I think that the rules could be better if we did these things. But you say, yeah, but the rules say this. So I can't, the rules say this though. Yeah, I know, but I think that the rules could be better. I think there's a different way of looking at it. No, but the rules say this. The point is, you're stuck inside of a framework. And if it doesn't say these things, 1, 2, and 3, you don't want to hear 4 or 5. You don't want to hear what someone else's 1, 2, and 3 is, because it's not your 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. It's you are so entrapped within this very small prism of thinking.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Texts can become outdated. The world is ever changing.
Well, that's the issue at hand. A lot of times when it comes to the things that people don't want to try to rewrite, because if you rewrite it or you say that it needs refinement, then what you're also saying is that it is not the true word of God,
right?
Which that's what this thing says. That's what
blasphemy.
Exactly. That's what this text says, that it's the true word of God. So how are you telling me it needs to be updated? You don't think that God knew the world from in all time and all eternity? Like, these words are here for a reason. So like, what are you talking about? It needs to be updated. You think that you need to edit God's work? That's what you're telling me. You need to edit God's work. So that's what I'm saying. So if you believe in that, there's nothing like, you truly believe in that, and there's no wiggle room for intellectual creativity, or you know what I mean, or reaching out. Like, there's no extension for that. Then you're there, and that's it.
And like, I'm no history buff. This might be a good question for Brad, but what happened to the separation of church and state? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when
I don't think that this is happening on the firm basis of that. I think that that's people's ideologies. That's the way that people have the discussion. But I don't think that that's going to be written into any law. God says this, so this is what's going to happen. It's a lot of what is fueling people, but it won't be written into law.
These lawmakers got to put their hands on the Bible every time they get sworn into office.
Bro, it's fascinating the things that people have to pretend that they are in order to do. Like, bro, you putting your hand on the Bible and swearing, but what if you don't give a fuck about the Bible? Right? Like, so what is the significance of that?
I would love to see like an atheist just run for president and actually get to like.
Man, I don't know about that. I mean, it's like atheism and agnosticism has gotten a lot more accepted as time is going past. But I don't know if there's still enough for people to think that people that are agnostic or that are not grounded by some form of God, that they are morally sound enough to run a country. Now, I don't believe in that. I think that that's preposterous thinking, but I don't think that the masses are on that level yet to believe that that person can do. I mean, and I don't necessarily think that Donald Trump was a Christian, but he just run around and just say Christian things and try to quote Bible verses incorrectly,
right,
and stuff like that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you just got to go and pretend that you're on a certain team in order for certain things to be given to you,
right,
for you to get to the next platform and the next, status, for you to achieve whatever the fuck it is that you want.
Right.
But yeah, it's all a bunch of weird shit going on out there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is. A lot of, so many things that are just so, that someone just one day made up that is now, and I'm not necessarily talking about the Bible here, but just in general, there's so many things out there that were just made up that people now fully believe in and just in their heart and soul. Like, a little bit off topic here. Draymond Green got thrown out of the Warriors Grizzlies game a couple nights ago, and on his way out, he threw up the double fingers to the Memphis crowd. And so, a bunch of people on Twitter, on social media talking about, oh yeah, that's so rude, so disrespectful. They just gotta shut up and play. A bunch of Fox News niggas. And
they gotta shut up and play.
Yeah, just shut up and play the game. You make this much money, you make that much money. And then, all around this, this double finger. And I came across a comment that was like, one day somebody decided to make up the fact that the middle finger was disrespectful, and now you're here finding offense to it because it's literally a finger. Yeah. It's a finger on your hand.
Yeah.
You find offense to it because you, for whatever reason, believe that. Bro,
listen, man. It's fucked up out here.
It is.
It's fucked up.
Very fucked up.
No pun intended. But yeah, it's fucked up out here. Like you're right. It's a signal, but to you look at, bro, people. I've been reading this book that actually you have right here in front of you, Difficult Conversations. Shout out to Tia yet again, one of hers. How to Discuss What Matters Most by Douglas Stone, Bruce Patton, Sheila Heen of the Harvard Negotiation Project. New York Times bestseller, 10th anniversary edition. Oh. There's quite a few, communications books. That's my shit.
They just gonna make money off this book forever. They just keep releasing new editions.
Oh yeah, for sure, and keep putting some more. I think what makes that a 10th anniversary edition is they threw 10 frequently asked questions in there, and they answered them in the back.
Okay,
and so people were like, oh yeah, 10 questions. So it's like they went out and bought the book again. Fascinating book, and I think that these are the types of books a lot more people ought to be reading. They speak on identity. This is something I've talked about a lot on here. I truly, truly believe when you get into identity and think about how we build ourselves through the time that we spend here on this planet and who we tell ourselves that we are, it gets fucked up because this is a little bit of what I talked to Katie about. Like, you're looking outwards, and if what you don't have going on inwards, like, ain't solid, like you really don't have a solid foundation for who you know yourself to be on this planet, what goes on outwardly can really fuck with you. And I'm not talking about someone coming and robbing your house and leaving you with nothing. That's a little bit more understandable. It's someone can show you a finger, right? Or just a piece of their anatomy. And we'll talk about a piece of someone else's anatomy too. I got a story. I know, crazy. They can show you a finger and you will be enraged. Like imagine this.
Completely taken aback.
Now it's my middle finger. But if I walk up to you and I throw up my pinky finger, you're going to think I'm weird. Right. For sure. You know, what the fuck is wrong with him? And you're probably going to think it's disrespectful too, because you're like, why are you just walking up to me and showing me your pinky finger? Like that's, I take that as disrespect because I don't know what it is you're doing right now. But it ain't the same as if someone puts up their middle finger towards you. Right? Someone can truly look at that and feel enraged. Like you saying, fuck me?
Yep.
Like you disrespecting me? Like yep. you don't like me? Like whatever that finger means to them.
Put that finger away.
Yeah, right. Like someone pulled a gun out and was pointed at you.
Right.
Like you feel attacked and people become enraged and people fight. Just like that fucking story I told you about my dad where he was out and Adams Morgan and someone took his spot, but it wasn't just them that taking the spot. It was them screaming out the window like, ha ha ha, like making fun of him that they took the spot. And now he's out the car.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like, bro, we have to just try to just breathe and relax. They took the spot, bro. Move on.
Yeah.
Go get another spot. Because at the end of the day, the story that is going to be told is going to be, yo, remember when dad got his ass thrown in jail because he was fucking around fighting in the street next to that Jumbo Slice place in DC?
Yeah.
Like that's a ridiculous story.
It is.
For you to be a part of, but you'll never see that until after the story because because you're enraged at the time. And you're just seeing red running around. So people's identity. This is rough, and I've taken a lot of this information in here as I do. We'll talk a little bit about this as well today. I got a full book today in my mind. And I extrapolate that information. I take that information and I spread it amongst many fields and I see like where it falls and what it has to do with a bunch of other different things.
Right.
And that's very, very fascinating in my mind to do. I love to do that. Okay. Sometimes when it comes to people fighting for something that is true, that they feel like is just, that is fair for them and people that look like them, or whatever the fight is that people are fighting, whatever fight it is that just came to your mind, listeners. Sometimes people fight for so long and so vehemently that the fighter in them becomes the identity.
Right.
They get so neck deep in fighting for a cause that sometimes they forgot what they were fighting about. And they think that if something changes or they back away, then they are giving up who they once were. They're giving up a core part of themselves. I was a fighter. I fight for what's right. Like that is who I am. And so if that thing is no longer a fight, if it gets fixed or there are signs of that thing being fixed, a lot of people's issue is finding the next thing to fight. Just trying to find something to argue about. And we've seen this on a smaller scale. You just see that in relationships. Sometimes there are people that are dealing with shit inside. They don't know who they are. They're confused about things. They're angry for reasons that they don't understand, whatever the case is. And they pick fights. Right. That could be a bully in school, but people pick fights. And then when there's no fight to be had, they just rock the boat. Things can't be all right because all right.
A little chaos.
Yeah. Because all right just isn't all right with them.
Right.
They don't, that isn't
not what they know.
That's not what they know. So that's a little bit of that. The point that I brought that up is because sometimes people just, they gotta relax. Like you're trying to fight on all fronts and all fronts are not necessarily worth fighting. Yeah. And you just can't do that all day long throughout your entire life.
It's like a drug. You know what I'm saying? It's like an addiction. Like you feel more like yourself when you're drunk or when you're high off, whatever you're high off. It's just, it's addicting.
And on top of that, this other point in the book is contribution. So again, this is about having difficult conversations with people, things that a lot of people don't like to do. And they talk about blame versus contribution. This is one that is tough for people. Why are these two that I'm pointing out extremely tough for people? Because they both deal heavily with acknowledgement of one's own faults in something.
Blame and contradiction.
Right? My identity in something, if my identity of who I am and what I stand for gets wrapped up in a conversation or something that's happening, now I'm invested on an emotional level.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if I was able to peel back these identity layers that I've given myself over time, I'd be less emotionally invested in way more objectively speaking or seeing what's in front of me at the time. Right? And that's just a better way of going about the situation. It's okay to understand emotions because we're emotional beings, but to try to like really get at the heart of something, I think it's best to just see what's actually in front of you.
Right.
A great quote that I love is, "A harsh truth is always better than a hopeful lie."
Yes. Okay.
Right. Like just to see things. This is something I also had posted on Instagram, just to see things as they truly are. It's way better to see life as it truly is, as opposed to how we make it up in our minds.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's similar to like ignorance is bliss. Like the salt, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, some people, have this conversation of, is it actually bliss? Like, do you want to be ignorant to certain things?
I think it makes life a lot easier for some people. Being ignorant, just being out of the way, just willfully not knowing, not really seeking the truth. I think that's a lot easier for some people.
I think so too. That's rough. It's not for me. I want to know things. Yeah. I want to understand. I want to have a deeper relationship with truth. So I'm not on that spectrum. Shout out to those people that would like to remain ignorant to things in the world. That's wild. Contribution versus blame. It's very easy when you're having hard discussions with people to just point your finger and say you're the issue.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people are the vice versa, and it's you know what, it's my fault. I'm the issue. Like I got to fix myself. Like I don't know what I was thinking. I'm so sorry, and they take all the blame. But either way, it is the blame game. Most of the time when people are having difficult discussions, whether it's in your house or it's at your job or wherever it is, it's the blame game. Someone's got to take the blame for this. Right? People don't usually think about things in terms of contribution. That would be a lot more helpful when trying to figure out any semblance of understanding in any given realm during any conversation ever, anywhere in history. How did I contribute to this thing? Because if I can figure out how I contributed to this thing, I can have a better understanding, one, of what reality is, and two, how I can further contribute in the future, but in a better way, right? As opposed to just being in complete victimhood and thinking that life is always just barreling down on you and everyone else is a piece of shit all the time and no one else knows how to live or navigate through life.
That's so internal, and sometimes you just got to fight back.
Yeah,
you gotta fight back. And it's not
tough, man.
And I'm not saying it's easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've dealt with that shit before. You know what I'm saying? Just the internal battles of life. But it's either, it either takes control of you or it doesn't. And
yeah. So figuring out, and then again, I extrapolate that and just think about all the different ways that people don't want to think how they contributed to something. Like this person said something wrong or they made me feel uncomfortable. All right. How many times have they said something wrong or made you feel uncomfortable? And how many times did you say nothing? Right. So it again, and I don't want to get to its most extreme idea in my mind of what that is, because that may be controversial and I'm not even about to talk about that on here because I don't need nobody hitting me up about it. But what I'll just say is it doesn't take away the crime. It doesn't take away from this person in the fact that they should not have done whatever it is they did or said, committed. It just asks the question, how could you have possibly contributed to this? Because in the future, there may still be people out there that do this type of thing. But you, with being, anew and refreshed in your mind with this new examination of how you contribute to things in life, can figure out ways of maybe staying away from these kinds of people. Right? So that's I'm not even going to get into nothing specific. I'm just going to say that because, again, accountability can be, because conversations can be rough. Because when you get into specifics about things, there's just certain things that people don't want to hear. And we already did enough with religion as it is. So yeah, I'm not going to go no further into that. I'm already starting to find my pocket where I should and should not speak about stuff. I used to just want to talk about everything. Now I'm like, you know what? Some things I'm just going to leave to the imagination, and I'll just cut the cameras and the microphone off and talk to you about it. That is completely okay with me. Like,
absolutely. So, you don't got to fight all those battles.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. So it's fucked up out here. I hope the best for people. I hope the best for people. I hope they figure it out.
Yeah.
That chick that I talked about with that Instagram post about pro-choice, there's such deep issues going on. Like, as soon as I read that story, I just thought about, one, everything that she said. Two, the fact that she was willing to post this on Instagram, which means that her head just ain't in the right space. Cause she has a skewed version of what reality is. Like, she thinks that she's going to put that on there and there's going to be a hurrah moment. Like, people are going to back her. And there may even have been some weirdos that did.
Some people are going to back her.
Simply because it was attached to pro-choice.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was enough for them. It was the banner, right? It was the bumper sticker that I always talk about.
Yeah.
Pro-choice, cool. So anything that you have to say after that or before that, I'm with it. Even if you're saying that you got to take care of this little shitty ass kid that you don't really like too much, and the only thing that gets you through the day and doesn't make you take your own life is the idea of you being on a beach naked somewhere at the end of the day. Well, okay, right? It's crazy, but people hop on these different sides. We can get a little bit into my weirdness. This is a great segue into my weirdness that I spoke about earlier on, and not seeing why people would want to go back and do the same thing over and over and over again. Right. Well, really pay and have to travel to do it, honestly. So,
is that what you think about when I go to Miami?
There's a discussion to be had about these things. Let me tell you, because I might be committing some of the same act, actually. Okay. When you think about it. So let's try to talk this through. A lot of this has to do with also this other person's anatomy that we will speak about as well. So let's bring this all together with the spa that I went to yesterday.
All right.
Went back to that same spa where the lady was playing me about only tipping her $20 when they already said the gratuity was included, and she's like, "The $20, that's it? $20, like that's it? We don't get paid enough, like not enough, like whatever." So suffice it to say, we did not go back up to those rooms for massages.
I hope not.
No, we just decided to stay in like the sauna area. Again, the poultice room is what it's called, that has all these different sort of sauna areas. And first and foremost, where should I go first with this? Went with the lady. She was talking about how she wanted to go somewhere and do something, right? Not that day, but she was like, I was thinking that maybe like a couple months from now, like we ought to go to this other place and do this thing. I chuckled with that. I'll tell you why I chuckled. I chuckled because this person is always finding like the next thing to do. In my mind, that's the way that I see it, is they're always trying to find like the next place to go, the next trip, the next thing to do. Go ahead, Keion. Sure. Go tell me what's on your mind as we start this.
I mean,
what's wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
Get out and do some things.
There's a lot to experience.
Earl, I've been telling you to get out and do things for years now, right? Okay. Because this has been a recurring issue with her and I, as well as with me and you. But now we have some understanding, and I think that I can bring more understanding to you now. Like, I finally think that I have a way of explaining this to you. Okay. I don't expect for this one to resonate with you. I think it'll make sense to you and you'll understand the words I'm saying, but I do not think it'll resonate with you in the slightest bit.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start with this idea that I have. I think that it's extremely useful in conversations, especially difficult ones that it may be taking years for two friends to figure out amongst each other, to use extremes, right? A lot of people don't like when you use extremes, and they'll be like, well, that's an extreme example. Why would you use that? I don't understand why people say that. This is the reason why you use extremes in conversations. Once you set a stake in the ground, right, that is an extreme on both sides, what that allows you to do is those are reference marks.
Okay.
So what you're really doing is creating the spectrum in between. So if I say to you, let's have two different types of people come to all of our minds right now. The one type of person, I don't know if you've heard about this, but you can probably imagine that this is the case somewhere. There is a Buddhist monk somewhere sitting atop a mountain that doesn't move for 6 months at a time. That he sits there, he meditates, he listens to the wind rustle, the leaves rustle, the water go, birds caw, and stays within and experiences what is in his mind and in his being. And that person experiences complete bliss in life, loves life, right? To the highest degree, has peace of mind that no one you've ever known has ever even graced. Okay. That sounds, so let's go by this step by step. How does that sound to you? Just the things I've said so far.
That sound like if we're talking about the Buddhist priest sitting on top of the mountain, enjoying all the sights and sounds of where he is, I think that if he likes that, I love it for him.
Okay. Then you have the other end of the spectrum, where we're going to place this other stake, which is someone that is a globetrotter. They have to be on the move. If they're not on the move, they're kind of upset. Like they have to be seeing something new, eating something new, reading something new, meeting new people. Like they have to be constantly moving. They don't like to sit in one place for too long because then life feels mundane and weird, monotonous to them. Right. So these are our two reference points. Mm-hmm. These are two extremes. All I'm saying is that there are a bunch of people that fill that entire spectrum between those 2 points.
Okay.
I have found myself for longer than I can truly remember being closer to the monk.
Okay.
And when I say that, what I mean is, and I even had to look up this word to make sure that I was doing it justice when I was talking about myself and talking about this idea, because to try to explain eccentricity in any one person, or just how an eccentric person comes to be, is kind of weird in and of itself, because some weird people are just weird. Okay. Eccentric. Deviating from the recognized or customary character, practice, etc. Irregular, erratic, peculiar, odd. As a noun, a person who has an unusual, peculiar, or odd personality, set of beliefs, or behavior pattern. Okay. So you got that.
Okay.
I think go ahead.
Is this the monk?
Yes.
Or you being closer to the monk? What's the difference between being that and being like a introvert? Are they the same thing? Are they just similar? Are they not alike at all?
Well, so I think that there are. This is what, see again, like my mind just takes everything apart. For myself, I don't believe in being one or the other.
Okay.
I think that just everything sets on a spectrum. Let's look at it this way. You don't think that you're gay, right?
No, I don't think so.
Right. But you've seen plenty of dicks on porn. Like yes. You've watched plenty of dudes have sex
I've seen
on
penises.
Porn. Right. So there's some semblance of homosexuality in that. Right. I'm not saying that you want to have sex with those guys, but you have no issue looking at a guy butt naked have sex with someone else.
Okay.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So like there's some sort of fluidity on this spectrum of life. So I think that I find myself heavily charged while talking to people. Like I love talking. I mean, come on now. I do. Like I'm Earl Lonnie Hooks from the Any Last Words pod. Like this is what I do, right? And I've been doing it way before this was a podcast. So I find myself heavily charged, and I love learning from people. I love it all. So, but I can just sit in my home by myself and feel amazing. I can sit on my bed with just like some sounds in the back, with some essential oils being diffused in the air, and close my eyes and be having a ball.
Can you not get that same feeling outside of here?
Right. Okay. So this is where we're headed to. I think that I'm an eccentric person. I think that a lot of the times I just have weird views on stuff. I can't tell you exactly what all the things were that got me to that point. I just think I'm a fucking weird dude. So I'm completely okay just making a decision, just like doing something because I feel like doing that thing at that time. So this is why I say I'm closer on the monk spectrum, because if opportunities present itself to me, I have no issue taking them. Like I go places, I do things, I experience all sorts of shit. Like I have no issue doing it because once I'm there, I'm there. Like wherever I'm at, whether it's in transit or I'm at the destination, wherever I'm at, I'm present and I'm having a good time. But I'm also okay just sitting down in the same place for a long, long time. And I think that is something that doesn't quite make sense for a lot of people.
What is a long, long time? Exactly. Because the thing with me is like, I don't know. Maybe I find myself somewhere just in the middle. Okay. Because there's something to be said about just being in the crib. I get that. I like being at home. Okay. I enjoy that. But once or twice a year, I like to go somewhere and stay somewhere that is not my home. You know what I'm saying? Just to experience, even if I've already been there before, just to go there. You know what I'm saying? Like Miami, no, I don't own any real estate there, but it feels like a second home for me. I go there so often that it's just like, that's just my place. That's where I go. And I love it. But you know what I'm saying? Just a couple times a year, I just like to go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? See what that's like. See what's going on there. Take it all in. Maybe, experience what I experienced, learn what I learned. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. See, so home is in my mind. Like home is here.
Okay.
So that's how I feel. So wherever I go, I'm at home.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like there's no, like I can enjoy anywhere. That's the point I'm getting at, is wherever I go, I'm taking home with me. So I think it's a very, very weird thing. I think that a lot of there's this book called The Alchemist, where it was this little boy, I think it was a shepherd of sorts, and he got some message or something to go off into the world and find like this fortune. And it's just this really long drawn out book of these adventures that this kid goes on for a very long time. And at the very end of the book, he ends up exactly where he started, at the same hut. And the moral of the story was that everything you ever needed was right here. Right from the jump. Go ahead.
And this, I mean, it makes sense because I know that if you could, you'd probably just buy a van and have all the necessities you need in there and just drive from place to place and just be out and away from everything and everyone, if that was the case. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it wouldn't be, I don't know about being away. Who is everyone and everything? Because there are people a lot of places. So like I would be meeting tons of people.
No, you would. But I guess what I'm saying is to say that when you say home is in your head, that this structure that we're in right now, this just happens to be the place that you sleep and eat and
fuck this place.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They're just walls and doors.
Because the other option is being out there, which is not ideal.
Yeah.
So
because then I have to deal with the elements.
Right.
Yeah. Like these are just doors. I just rent this. Like they're just doors. There's a sink or toilet. Like it's convenient because I can wash myself, go to the bathroom, eat food and all that. But I don't care about the structure of this.
I got you.
Yeah. I don't care about that.
I got you.
So that's the thing. There are just some weird people in the world that just, So a little bit of what I like to do, and we'll get back into the spa session. A little bit of what I've been liking to do is watch a certain group of guys, the RDC World guys. They shout out to the RDC World guys, sir. Mark Phillips and them, Leland, Dylan, all of them. Shout out to y'all.
Hell yeah. Some funny ass
Ben,
guys.
Desmond, I know him. Shout out to y'all. Av, shout out to you. So they came a long way from just some videos that they were putting up on Facebook and all that. They've done so much, and they play some video games online. RJ was talking to y'all about how you got to get up on Elden Ring. I don't know if you've seen any play of that game.
I have.
Does it look cool to you?
Like, yeah, it looks pretty cool.
It's a dope ass game. I think.
Did you?
I haven't played it, but it looks cool when they play it. Also, they're funny.
I feel like it reminds me of like a little bit of like Final Fantasy ish. Or no.
It could be. It depends on which one you're talking about, but not really like a role playing game in that sense. More so like a World of Warcraft or Skyrim,
more like
something.
Ooh, Skyrim.
Yeah, like one of those super detailed.
Yeah, see, Skyrim, I wasn't a big fan of.
But not so detailed though, because Skyrim was wildly detailed like and like interactive. Like,
you had to press B to wipe your ass. In that
yeah, exactly.
Like, it was a lot
for me. It was a lot. Turn the door handle, revolve the analog stick to turn the door handle, pull the analog stick towards you.
Right.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. So they've been playing this game called, was it Detroit Become Human? You heard anything about that?
Yeah.
It looks like, again, this is a game I would love because it's interactive. You got to walk around. You got to do a bunch of this stuff, but it's a playable movie.
Okay.
So like Last of Us in a sense. And you play with 3 different. Okay. I didn't mean to disrespect The Last of Us. Look at you. Damn, you ride for them niggas. That's crazy.
Nothing can compare.
That's my bad. Okay, all I'll say is it's a playable movie. That's what I meant to say. It's not like anything else. But you play with these 3 different androids, and you slowly, as the story goes on, you start to see the story slowly start to converge together. So it's really dope in that sense. It's really like a iRobot type of world, where androids are a thing. You get them as maids or as taxi drivers, whatever the case is. And clearly the job rates have lowered for human beings. Like, I think it's like 37% of human beings are out of a job because of the rise of androids.
That's huge.
Yeah, it is. Like,
'cause most times, like, you know, in the real world, it's like a 4 or 5% unemployment rate. 37%,
more than a third.
Woo,
that's crazy.
That is crazy.
So, like Will Smith and iRobot, there's a lot of hate for androids, right? Just like you were talking about these people in Texas with the immigration, right? So you're taking all the jobs, right? Type of energy, And the point I'm getting at is it's called Detroit Become Human. You start playing with these androids, and there's a pivotal moment in each one of these characters' stories where they're told to do something, which is in their programming they ought to do. There are also amongst the androids these things called deviants, which are these robots that I guess kind of go haywire or crazy,
go rogue,
and break out of the system, the programming. And there are pivotal moments in the game where you have to break out of your programming to do something. There's one where you're playing with a girl named Kara, or android woman named Kara, and there's this drunkard of a dude, and he flips the table over in his house, and he's about to go beat the shit out of his young daughter. And because he's clearly had a rough life. He's lost his job, and his wife with the android raising and all this. And he's just eating spaghetti, looking at his little daughter like, I bet you fucking think I'm not shit, huh? I bet you fucking think, you think this is just fucking easy? You think, you don't want to live in this shithole? Like, he's just projecting everything that he feels onto his little girl. Yeah. She hasn't said a word. She's just eating spaghetti. He flips the table over, and she runs upstairs. He slaps her. She runs upstairs, and then he's about to start walking after her. As he starts walking after her, time slows down. And it says, like, break out of the programming, to which you have to press a bunch of different, analog sticks and buttons and things like that, like a combination in order to break out of this programming if you are to help this young girl. And then after you do that, you start making your own decisions in the game. Before that, you just have to do what was told to you. But after you do this with these 3 characters, you start making your own decisions, and it shapes the way that the story goes as well. That's another cool thing about the game. Is the story is not the same.
Different ways.
People can die. People cannot die. People can become friends. People can become enemies. Like, so it's a dope ass game. There's a point where Mark, the leader of this whole RDC group, he's just like, yo, nigga, like, if these robots can do this, like, why don't they just fucking break out of this system? Like, why don't they all just break out this shit? And then his cousin Leland's over, he looks at him and he's just like, cause they ain't woke, nigga. Cause they ain't woke. But that's a funny little clip right there, though. Because I know that people look at video games and movies and they use it as a time to just relax and not really think about much or do whatever. I've said it on here a million times. That's not how I interact with anything. Like, I'm there for a reason, and it's because I'm going to see something and it's going to stir some thought. It's going to inspire me in somehow. And I'm thinking about this, and it's a video game, but why aren't people breaking out of the programming? Why aren't people breaking out of the matrix that they've been stuck in, the program that they've been stuck in, which is everything that we've been talking about?
Afraid of the consequences?
You aren't woke. I hate to use that word because it's been completely saturated and now everyone's woke, which means no one's woke. But it means that you're not enlightened to the point of being able to even have the option of breaking out of whatever matrix you've been programmed to sit inside of.
Are they sheep?
Yes. Yes. If you want to look at it that way, they're sheep. A lot of shit that I have to say is not from a sheep's mouth.
No.
So sometimes shit I be talking about it just sounds weird. It's just weird. So I completely understand wanting to go places and do things and see things, and I completely understand that. And if that's where your mind is, if that's what you understand, that there is something in going and seeing things, then and you gotta put your efforts together to make sure that those things happen, then that's where you are. And I say, go and do those things. But we also have to give credence to people that have just been okay. I haven't needed much in life. And I know that sounds weird. I didn't pick up minimalism because it was a cool fad. I just never cared about shit. Like, and not in like a, like, I don't see how other people see value and stuff. It's not that. I'm just okay.
Yeah.
I'm just okay. And there's something remarkably beautiful about that we don't ever talk about that. It's always just, why don't you get up and go places? But what about the guy that is so okay and finds the insides of his own mind and his own being so beautiful that he doesn't have to go anywhere? Like, what about that? Like, that's fucking dope. That's because a lot of people do not have that.
That's cool.
And the issue, and what's so cool about it is I don't feel perturbed if I go somewhere and do something with someone. It's never that. It's never like someone's dragging me against my will to do anything. I'm never giving that energy if I'm out with anyone. If I'm there with you, we're having a great time. Period. Because I'm there too. And I'm home. So like that's kind of my thing. I'm an eccentric, weird, idiosyncratic person, but I you know, I don't try to take things or experiences away from other people, but I also just ask that people understand where I'm coming from. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I would never try to convince you or anyone else to, like, you know, think like me or be like-minded. If anything, I guess I'm just more so trying to understand it all.
Right.
Trying to understand the different perspectives.
The other thing about this person's anatomy. So last time you asked me if I had gone into the naked part, right? Because the whole poultice room and all the saunas, that's not a naked part of it. The pool area, that's the naked part. That's the part where women and men go in there's separate locker rooms where they have their separate pool areas. Okay. Now, again, went with the ladies. So we came out with 2 completely different observations about what was going on in our separate pool areas. First thing that we can sort of compare and contrast is it seemed like over there in the women's, like you would see people because there are a bunch of naked people walking around, but you didn't lock eyes with anyone. And if you did make eye contact, you say hello, or you give the universal head nod in a sense, and you go on about your business. She said that she would look up every once in a while, just as people do, not to like look at people, but to just look around, and that she didn't see people staring at anyone or making anything awkward at all.
You would hope not.
Well, that was not what I was observing. So over on the other side in the guys' pool, first of all, we have to acknowledge that we don't see naked people this often.
Right.
Like there's nowhere you go where just naked people are just walking around like this. Not here in America.
Like was there like a bunch of moments, like a bunch of whoa shit happening, or?
Well, so first and foremost, first thing I did was go in there butt naked, and I go to the jacuzzi. Now I go and I lay in the jacuzzi. There are like 4 other guys in the jacuzzi, and I just go to my respective corner and I close my eyes and I'm just sitting there, probably like neck high in jacuzzi water, just sitting there. And when I would like blink my eyes open, I'd always like catch a guy looking at me and then like look away real fast. It could have just been he just looked over at me at the wrong second and then felt awkward. I'm not going to just like, because my eyes were closed, so I'm not going to say he was just looking at me the entire time my eyes were closed. So, because I don't know that. Could have been the case, but I'm not certain. But there were definitely some guys that just look around because you don't see naked people a lot. Yeah. So I think it's almost natural to just look around like, damn, naked bodies in here. Yeah. Like that doesn't look like mine.
It makes you curious.
Yeah. Like, oh, that's what his body looks like. Oh, that's what his body. Like, oh, damn. Like, okay, he's a little bit more fit than, his body. His shit kind of falling apart. You got to do something with that. Like you're just looking at a bunch of different bodies that you never see. So there's a whole lot more looking going on in the guys' pool. After that, I got up and I went to one of the saunas. There was a 194 degree like dry sauna in there. Stayed in there for a couple of minutes. That was 194. In the Poultice room, the highest it gets is 160, I believe. But there's some. Yeah, it ranges from like 120 to 160, like the different rooms in there.
You could probably die if you stay in there too long.
Yes, you can certainly dehydrate, which is why they have water, setups everywhere for you to get like some water.
Okay,
you know what I mean. You got to continue to hydrate if you're going to be there throughout hours and just be going in and out of rooms for 10 to 20 to 30 minutes at a time. Like you have to hydrate. I go in the 194 degree dry sauna for a few minutes, leave there. I go in the steam sauna. The steam sauna was crazy. That was like 120 degrees, but the steam was so heavy. It was like you could bite the air. It was just wild. Left there. But before I went in either one of those, I saw this guy. This guy I had seen the last time we were here as well. And just like the last time I went, the lady said, yeah, I don't get a weird vibe from this guy. He seems weird. Mm-hmm. Like I don't like the way he's looking at me. He just seems like I want you to stay close to me, or he's gonna take me somewhere.
Oh,
he's just giving just one of those just creepy, and not only just creepy, but like this sort of like I could control you if I wanted to vibes. Like a real, just like a real aggressor, sort of like alpha male type. Like I run shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just like slave master mentality.
Real douchebaggy.
Yeah. There was a guy at my job, by the way, one time speaking about this that spoke to a young girl. And she came and talked to me about it. These are the types of people that just be walking in and out of this place, by the way. He said to her a few different things. One, we had to have masks on at this point. Pull down your mask. Let me see. I want a real human interaction. Pull your mask down. Pull your mask down. I want to see your face.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. She did it. She's young. She doesn't do confrontation well. She pull her down. Nose ring. Why you got a nose ring in? My daughter would never have that.
Why are you telling me this?
At some point in time, he said, if I wanted you to run around outside in a bikini right now, you would do it.
Yo, yeah. Did he still work there?
No. He didn't work there. He was a guest. He was someone that came and sat down and was eating food.
Very entitled.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
These are the types of things that he was saying to this person.
Wow.
This person didn't want to say anything to anyone.
Wow.
So, yeah. Go ahead.
Because I know the type of place you work in. When do you get to the point where you got to tell someone you're not allowed to come back here?
I don't know if I've.
I mean, I'm not saying that you specifically, but
like, when does management, when does someone do that?
There's got to be a point.
It's been like once, bro. You have to imagine I've worked here for 6 years. Yeah. You can only imagine all the people I've seen coming in and out of this place, thousands upon tens of thousands of people. It's only happened just a handful of times. I'd really say once or twice, and people had to get like very, very nasty with employees before that happened. Mm-hmm. This guy, he said to this girl I'm talking about, what else did he say? He said something like, well, where are you from? And she's American, right? But she didn't know if she meant like, where are my parents from? Like, where my parents, like my lineage hail from, you know? And she was like, do you mean like, he was just like, no, like when I wake up in the morning, I know I'm American. Like, where are you from? Like you should know who you are.
Relax.
Right. Yeah. So that was so that was the type of energy that was coming off this guy. And this was the sort of energy that, again, the lady said she was feeling off this guy at the spa area.
Like, why is this relevant? Like, nigga, just eat your food.
I know, bro.
Just eat your food.
I know. Okay, let me do one more before I continue on with the spa story. Young woman working with us on my team, AM service. She was dealing with this guy last weekend, and I guess big old dude, like big, like super big, like he eat a lot. Put it to you that way. And he's sitting down,
he's not fasting,
sloppy, not fat. Don't know what that is. He eat fast. He eat real fast though, and he got a biscuit brought out to the table, and I guess he sliced the biscuit in half, and the biscuit wasn't to like his temperature liking. And he asked the server to come over, and he said, "Yeah, this I don't like this." And she said, "Okay, well we'll fix that for you." He was like, "No, come over here and touch the biscuit." She was like, "Sir, I'm sorry. Is there I can help you with what you need? Like I can get you another." He was like, "No, but I want you to put your hand on the biscuit. I want you to. Why do you think I don't like it? I want you to put your hand on the biscuit."
You can just tell me that why you don't like it, like.
The whole time he's got a woman across from him. He has like a wife or someone sitting across, and she's just giving off the awkward, like it's wild knowing that, one, there are people out here like this, and two, that there are people out here like this that have significant other spouses like they're
that just accept that shit.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, okay, I guess this is what it is. Like I don't know what's going on through either of their minds, but aside from this is acceptable, I guess.
And I don't want to know what's going on at the crib.
Bruh. Yeah, so just weirdness. Some people just have some weird power play shit going on. And it's very, very weird when people try to exercise a power dynamic over a breakfast, usually to a woman, because that don't happen to me.
Right.
People don't ever talk to me the way that I be hearing about this other stuff. So that is so cowardice. I really despise when people treat people like that. I really dislike it.
I deal with kind of the same shit at my job. Outside of that one nigga that was mad disrespectful.
Yes.
Most of the time I see customers that deal with some of the women that I work with differently than they deal with me. Yeah. And I'm just like, no, keep that same energy.
By the way, something we didn't touch on last time when you talked about that disrespectful dude that asked you how old you were and then told you had a long way to go after you answered, is the fact that he's at least 2 to 3 years younger than you. Yeah. We didn't hammer that nail into the coffin, by the way.
He was born in like 92.
Yeah. So that was also weird. Okay, now back to this guy that's given all this aggression or this weirdly possessive sort of vibe to the lady, right? I'm in the jacuzzi and I see him get out the pool. He's bricked up. His dick is as hard as a rocket.
Okay.
And I'm like, I think I saw other couple guys like look up and see this. he's probably, his body's kind of like all over the place, so it looks like mashed potatoes in a garbage bag. Probably mid-40s, Middle Eastern guy. And he gets out and his dick's just rock hard. And I'm like, I guess, I don't know. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know exactly what the doubt is that he's benefiting from. I'm just thinking, I don't know what's going on through his mind.
Right.
Right. Why is your dick so hard? I don't know. I don't know I don't know what's going on through his mind. I just know his dick is hard and he's getting out the pool and he was just sitting around like 6 other guys. And I know the 6 other guys are looking at him like, the fuck? So his dick was just hard next to me this whole time? Like, what's going on in here? That's not the weirdest part. He walks off into like the corner of the pool where no one's standing, and he just starts just rubbing his shit. Just starts sort of yanking it, but not even to completion.
Right.
He just starts playing with himself for 10 seconds. And then continues to walk on and just leaves.
What? Was he in the water?
No, he got out of the water, and that's when I saw the submarine that was his dick submerge or emerge from the water, right?
Yeah.
And then he just walks to the corner of the pool area, right, where everyone can see you. You're above water level, and he just starts. He just puts his hand on his dick and just starts rubbing it for 10 seconds. I don't know what's going on with his penis or what's going on in his mind or if he's trying to soothe himself. I don't know what's happening.
Right.
I just know that that's what I saw. And then he walked out.
It really,
I don't know.
Really, really makes you wonder what be going through people's minds sometimes. Really. Okay. Obviously, you know what? This is a great segue into a small incident in my job that I wanted to talk about. Will Smith slapped the shit out of Chris Rock.
Right.
Some guy the other day tried to go up on stage and tackle the shit out of Dave Chappelle. and it really makes you wonder, why do people do these things? Because all these people can't have some sort of mental, some mental shit going on where they just can't control themselves. I think some of these niggas are doing this shit on purpose. It's on purpose. Some of these niggas doing this shit on purpose.
Well, I can't. I think that Will Smith slapped the shit out of Chris Rock on purpose.
Absolutely.
I think that this guy tried to tackle Dave Chappelle on purpose. I also think that there can be something going on mentally. Yeah. I think that that's also the case
at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's possible.
Because if you had a clear head, that's not what you're doing. Now, maybe he thought that he was some sort of a fighter for whatever community at the moment hates Dave Chappelle. You know what I mean?
And there's some Dave Chappelle hate out there.
Yeah,
so I can understand that.
So he could have thought that he was going to go up there because this prominent comedian has been making certain people feel lesser than because of the way that they have interpreted his jokes or his words, right? And so he was like, I'm going to go handle this shit. Not on my stage, not in my city.
Okay.
Right. And so he decided to run up there and try to do something bro, you don't think, listen, I don't know if the video of security getting to him was caught on tape, but you can't think, as you were saying, what are you thinking? What did you think the end game was going to be?
Exactly.
So, I don't know. Someone told me they read an article and they found a gun and a knife on him.
Oh, wow.
This may have been an assassination attempt.
Oh, wow. Well, if so, why not just shoot?
Bro. Because he ain't no real shooter. Because shooters shoot.
2 weeks ago at my job, gentleman walks in, says, hey, I believe somebody hit my car. Do you guys have a camera system where we could run the cameras back so we could take a look? And I'm like, yeah, we could take a look at that. And so at the same time, 2 girls walk in and they're like, hey, we're trying to move in. We need some carts. I don't see any. Can you help us? And I tell the guy, I'm like, all right, let me go help them find some carts. And then we're going to come back. We're going to take a look at the cameras. Mm-hmm. Cool, right? Cool.
Yeah.
So as we're walking out, there's another customer that's just finished moving in that's pulling some carts over in our direction, kind of crossing paths. The gentleman that said someone hit his car, that the customer that was pushing the carts crossed his path, and he just punched that man in the face. In his face, knocked him to the ground. My man rolled over a couple of times and he just got back up and just started running over to his car. And so I turn around because I hear the commotion and I'm just like, what the fuck is happening right now? So he's coming over to me like, man, somebody in my fucking car. Somebody in my car, man. What the fuck? Somebody in my car. And I'm just like, it wasn't him. I was like, relax. I was like, I just told you that we were going to review the camera footage. What is wrong with you? And I'm just like, what goes through the mind of somebody that does something like that? I don't understand. I really don't. I don't understand. And so obviously, you know, the guy, he just hops in his car. The guy that punched him hops in his car, drives away, just drives away. And so, you know, got to call the police because the gentleman wants to press charges, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, you know, cops come up there. They want to see the footage. So I'm running the footage back because I didn't get a chance to do that because he just took it upon himself to be fucking Batman. So we're running the footage back. This man parked in one of our handicap spots where you would need a handicap sticker or a sign.
Yeah.
There was nobody there was no, like, the handicap spots are different. They're set off to the side, closer to the office door than our other regular spots. He was the only person parked over there. Nobody hit his car.
But you did see that there was something that looked like it. Like there was some scratches, a dent.
No, I didn't get a chance. I didn't even get a chance to look at the car, nothing. We walked out the office. He punched somebody in the face, started yelling and screaming for about 10 seconds, got in his car and left. We're watching the tape. He's parked in a handicap spot where no one else is parked. Nobody else is over there.
And but you rolled the footage and did you ever,
no one hit his car at all. Maybe it happened earlier in the day. Maybe he just noticed it. I don't know. But nobody in that garage hit his car. Nobody hit his car, dog. And the thing about it is the gentleman who he punched had just moved, like it was just moving in that day. That was his,
my God.
That was his very first experience with us.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, here I am apologizing and shit for some shit I ain't even do, just on behalf of Extra Space. Trying to,
I mean, that's all you can do. Damn.
Yeah. Just.
Oh my God.
Out of nowhere, like no preparation, nothing. Just wound it back and just punched him in the fucking face. And he fell to the ground. Cart just rolling all over the fucking place.
That's a funny scene. Just a cart rolling is funny to me. Damn, man.
Yeah.
So this dude had his car hit at some point in time, drove up to did he have any business? Like, what did
he rents a unit there.
Okay, so he had so he had some business to do.
Yeah, he came in, parked his car, went inside the building, brought some stuff out, put it in his car, then drove the car outside of the garage, parked it at one of the warehouses right next to us, then came in the office and said something to me about it.
And then you walk out to help these two ladies. The guy crossed past is pushing cars the opposite way that just moved in. He gets punched in the face. See, okay. The intro to this podcast used to be you saying, why do these niggas exist? And that's a pretty apt thing to ask. But the real point behind it is, you know, in the Buddhist philosophy, good and bad doesn't really exist.
Okay.
It's more about wisdom and ignorance.
Okay.
And so that's why when you speak to me about ignorance being bliss and how that is a perspective that us in a lot of Western culture have talked about being a viable option for people, well, I'd like to be ignorant of certain things. The issue with that is, seeing, so instead of like devil and God, like purity and evil, it's more like you have sages of wisdom that understand life and understand the world, and they help people. And they at the very least stay to themselves and don't fuck up things for other people. Right. And they're probably the ones sitting on a mountain for 6 months at a time, just sitting in that one spot, just enjoying life. And then you have what is like an evil sage of sorts, which is just someone that's really just kind of ignorant, or their ignorance has a certain degree. And they're really just a few very profound conversations away from being enlightened. So good and bad it's not that really that easy of a scale. So when I talk about people, I don't look at people as good and bad, really. That's not because I'm a Buddhist monk. It's because I don't see how it can be had that way. I don't understand how you find yourself on a scale of good to bad, and like whether you do a couple good things that day, you get a couple points and it pushes you to being a better person or a worse person. I think it's about thought patterns and behavioral patterns that then exhibit to the world, signal to the world what type of person you are at any given point in time. I think that's what it is. So really what we're asking is, what sort of behavioral patterns are you practicing? What sort of thought patterns are being instilled in your brain and in your mind from the food, the nourishment, again, that you ingest and digest? This is when we talk about not only the actual physical foods that you eat, but also the things that you read, the conversations you have, all the stuff that is the music you listen to, all the things that are going into your psyche. It matters. I know a lot of people don't think that it does, but it does. And, you know, I was thinking about this idea the other day also at the spa. I know that a lot of people want to live a different life, right? Because they think it's a destination. Like, I want to live like them. I want to do that thing. I want to be at that place. Like, it's a destination. Like, it's not a practice.
Right.
And I thought in my mind, in order to live differently, you have to live differently. Right? In order to get to this place, in order to live differently as the destination, or whatever you think a destination is, because it's never truly a destination, you have to practice that way of living to be there. It's like a fake it till you make it thing. Yeah. But like, it's not really faking it. Like, you're making it. You're making it as you're making it.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah, I get that.
So when you say what's going on through these people's minds, that's why I preach what I preach on here. That's why I'm constantly, but I preach, but I also practice what I preach. That's why I think that clarity of mind and peace of mind is so important. That's why I think it's like the thing that you should go after. And I think that other things happen after that. I think other things you can build upon that. But if you don't have like clarity of mind and peace of mind, like other things are just much harder to understand and to grasp, and at least to grasp with like real fulfillment as you grasp it. Right. So when I think about the lady that put that thing on Instagram about how she has to raise this dumbass little fucking kid that she hates, and she would have never did it if she had the opportunity to not do it, or was coerced out of, not having the abortion. Or this guy that's just driving up the extra space and just punching the first person he sees that probably isn't a match for him too, because he's probably a coward like the other people we were talking about being a coward. What I experience on a day-to-day, I find myself sitting back in complete gratitude. Because and I'm trying to do this other practice too. It's difficult to do sometimes, because sometimes the only way for me to truly get my point across is to pit it against a contrary idea. That's the only way to like truly enlighten something or shed light on something else, is to show the contrast between it and something else. But I'm trying my best to speak more about my experiences without shunning other people's. I'm really trying to like humble myself in that way, but sometimes it's just difficult. It just makes sense to do it. So I sit in gratitude a lot of the times because I know that where I am in my mind is it's light years away from where that guy is. It's light years away, and it's because I choose to not be ignorant.
Yeah.
It's because I don't think that ignorance is bliss. I think that it may be, it's like a weird conundrum, because it may bring some bliss to you because you think that knowing more or taking accountability for more could bring turmoil, right? And sadness and anger to you in a moment. But it's again about the working past that to something greater. And I think if you get more enlightenment, then you never want to go back. There's a certain point you cross where you never want to go back to dimming your knowledge or your wisdom or your enlightenment, right? I could only imagine, but it seems like he's sad and angry, and there are just things going on that and he doesn't know how to handle them. Like his hands are off the wheel. He's not even controlling. He has no control over what's going on. And that's not to absolve him of what he did. But I think that he's built up such a set of patterns in his mind. At a certain point, I truly do believe I'm not the super wild, extreme optimist where, even though I may seem like that sometimes, I don't know if I do to people or not, but I'm not the guy that thinks that everybody can get better all the time. Like, I'm not that guy.
Right.
I do think that it's over for some people.
Yeah.
I think it's over for, you need some more water? I got lemon water. I got lemon strawberry water. Come on. Come on, man. Come on now. Come on, man. I'm going to hook you up. You might even get a little strawberry fall in there. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I do think that for some people, it's just over. You're stupid. How's that water? How's that? Godly. It's different though. It don't taste like the water you was drinking before.
No, of course not. I've never had strawberries in my water before. This is great.
Oh yeah, I just be throwing all sorts of fruits in there.
This is great.
So I just think that for some people that they've just, and that's why it's better to always try to work with things sooner rather than later. When they talk about it with health, that it gets harder to work on your health the older you get. So it's just better to make the habits while you're young, so you don't have to try to work backwards, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's the same thing. I think that people get these patterns ingrained in their mind over years and years and years of practice, and they don't even know how much they're practicing. Like they don't even know. It's amazing how great people can be at things. I saw a video of a young lady that was doing a handstand on 2 wooden blocks, had a bow and arrow in her feet, and arched her back to where she was now making the letter C, where she was like doing a scorpion, where like her legs were bending backwards, and she pulled the arrow back with the bow with her toe and released it and hit a bullseye.
It's amazing to me. Like, how do you know you can do that? How? Like,
it must have started with like gymnastics or something. You know what I mean? Like, you just start off doing like some gymnastics just for flexibility and mobility and things like that. And then maybe it was on a beach too. So like maybe on this island, they just be doing weird stuff. You never know, different cultures. I don't know. I asked the same question. How do you know you could do that? Like, how do you get to that point? But the point is, people can get really good at things. The issue is people practice terrible things every day, and they're really, really good at being bad. So they're practicing things that propagate this degenerative lifestyle, and they get really good at their quality of life degenerating, because human beings are good at something that they do day in and day out. So you keep doing it and you get better at ruining your life. And so I that's what I think is going on that end. When you talk about these people, I just think that they're really good at fucking their life up.
And like a little side story to that. So there was another woman up there with like a kid or two. And so, you know, after the guy pulls off, she comes up to me. She was like, yo, like he better not come back in here because I'm licensed.
Oh.
She was like, he come back up in here, it's not gonna be funny because I don't play that. And I'm just thinking like, this man don't know, but he could have got a cap in his ass today.
Yeah.
And he
yeah, that could have gone a completely different way. See, now you got a whole bunch of other stuff going on too. Oh.
And like, she literally, that lady, she didn't get punched. She was the one with the kid. She called me the next day and was like, what are y'all gonna do about that? And I'm just like, I mean, well, right now I'm, you know, I got to complete an incident report. I'm waiting on the cops to get back to me with, you know, for whatever they need. I was like, you know, I've definitely locked him out of the system. His code does not work to get in the building anymore. So, you know, I'm hoping that we don't see him. I'm hoping I don't see him because I wanted to deal with that shit.
Right. Cause I'm certain that the dude that did get punched, he's got some questions like, hey man, this is day one. Is this like, what's going on up here? Like,
yep. I had to insure him. I was like, yo, I've never seen anything like that happen before. Like, that was completely random. Completely random. I've never seen anything like that happen before.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely unfortunate.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't know what the fuck. But let me tell you a story about, real quick, about my dad's, near-death experience. A couple days ago.
Okay.
My stepdad, not my biological father.
Right.
Yes. So my dad bought a canoe. Never seen this man get on a canoe a day in his life.
So someone took me to Cabela's the other day. I thought about you while I was in there. First thing, before we even walked in, you know, they got the kayaks and canoes right out front. Yeah. I did not know what they was hitting for.
Oh yeah, them shits are expensive.
$1,000.
Hell yeah.
Fucking canoe. Yeah. I wouldn't have thought that.
The one my dad, I think the one he got was used. So I think it cost him like $500 or $600.
All right.
Which is still a fair amount.
Yeah.
So my dad decides to take a canoe out. This is a canoe with like a small motor on it, like a little electric motor.
Oh, okay. What river? Where's he at? You know?
Like, Potomac, yeah. Okay. Bowling Air Force Base, like, in DC. So decides to buy a canoe and take it out because he wants to go fishing. I don't know how, my dad doesn't go fishing often, not like I do. So it was just very random to me. So he gets out there and he gets in the boat. One, red flag. The boat came with life jackets. They were in the boat, but they weren't on his person. They were not on his body yet. I guess he figured he was just going to get out in the middle of the water and then put one on.
Okay.
No.
How's your dad as a swimmer?
He's good. He taught me how to swim. He taught my brother how to swim. He taught my son how to swim. And you know my dad. Like
what branch of the military was he?
He's in the Army.
Army. Okay.
Yeah, but you know, he's been in shape. Like, you know what I'm saying? He still be running to this day. He still goes on runs. Yeah. Like he's an in shape guy.
Yeah, but the running don't got shit to do with if you submerged in water and don't know how to swim.
I get that. Yeah. I get that. So he gets out there. I guess he's starting the motor up. The motor's on the back of the boat. I guess as he's starting the motor up, the boat just tips backwards. Maybe there's a little too much weight in the back. Maybe, maybe he should have put some more equipment up in the front for the proper weight distribution.
Right.
So the boat goes backwards. The back of it starts filling up with water. The boat is sinking at this point. His ass is in the water. There's a lot of things happening.
Imagine the panic as you realize your small boat is capsizing as soon as you got out there.
Luckily, he wasn't like far out.
Yeah.
And luckily, there were a couple people on shore that saw this happening. One of them being a gentleman that had a boat.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm sorry. There was one person on shore and there was also a gentleman out there that had a boat. Okay. That happened to be nearby.
Yeah.
But like from what my mother was telling me, she was like, she said that my dad said that like, he knows how to swim, but I guess just the traumatic, like the moment just being so traumatic, like he wasn't necessarily drowning, but he was just kind of like all over the place at the moment, just trying to figure out what the fuck to do next.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh no.
So lost his phone, lost his entire wallet, IDs, credit cards, cash, all that shit is at the bottom of the Potomac right now. And so apparently,
Oh man.
there was a lady on shore that was like helping him like kind of get back to shore. And then the gentleman that was in the boat out in the water was luckily able to save my dad's canoe and got the canoe back to shore.
Okay.
So,
That's solid.
Ultimately all was not lost.
Yeah, not all.
But my dad definitely said like he was a bit traumatized for the day.
Damn. Trip for the day.
Yeah. And I talked to him because this happened a couple of days ago.
Cause how long is it going to be till they go back out there?
I don't know. My mom's talking about he trying to sell the canoe now.
Oh yeah, he done with that.
That shit over with.
He done with that. Now that's just like when my dad came out to play basketball with us, and he tore his ACL trying to jab step to the right real quick and take off, and he tore his ACL. That was his. I believe that was his very last time playing basketball.
And he picked up basketball since.
That was years ago.
Not even a dribble.
Yeah, man. That was it.
But yeah, I talked to my dad today, and he was just telling me, he was like, there was just so many red flags that I just didn't really key in on. I was thinking to myself, like, why I get in the boat with no life jacket on? Why did I do that? He was like, as I was getting the boat out there or, too closer to the shore, he was like, I went back to my truck to get the life vest and I just put it in the boat. Like, that's where it goes.
Like the boat needs it.
Right. He was like, why didn't I just put the life vest on before I got in the boat? Don't make no sense. And he was talking about, trying to start the boat up. And he was like, trying to start the boat up. And he was like, I realized that the boat was kind of going backwards, but I was just kind of stuck in the moment because I was just trying to figure out exactly, is it going to go all the way back?
And he was going to wait for it too.
And I'm just thinking in my head, like, I was like, the weight distribution was off. Like, you should have had a cooler or some equipment up in the front.
Yeah, man.
Something, man.
Oh, shit. That's crazy.
My dad almost drowned in the Potomac. I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah.
Because, Lord.
Yeah, man, I'm glad we can laugh about this.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it got to that point where we can just laugh about it. No, like nothing too crazy happened. It didn't flip over and smack him in the head and knock him out.
Right.
Yeah, because that could have been a completely different story.
Right. And, he was just talking about how, he knows how to swim, but just the experience itself, I guess just made him realize ooh,
yeah, even
it ain't all swimming.
Now I'm certain that the type of boat he has, I'm certain it's a bit modern. So the propeller is within a case of sorts. Like it's not just out. Is that?
I mean, well, when the propeller's in the water, I think it's just the propeller just connected to some sort of.
I thought sometimes there's like a huge little box area where the propeller is inside and it propels from outside of this box with vents, like a little ventilation system that allows for the propulsion to still take place. Yeah, I'm not certain because if it's just a fan literally just in the water and then it tips back and you fall out and the whole thing doesn't flip completely over to a 180 and you just fall out to where now the boat has enough weight distribution to tip back the way it came, you can find yourself falling off the back end of the boat and getting hit with the propeller at the same time.
Yeah.
So, that was another instance that could have been done. Yeah. Have you seen this canoe?
No, I haven't seen it in person.
Okay, but yeah, if the propeller's just out there, like, and you can just see it, then that is an option. I'm certain that's happened to people before.
Oh, so, I'm sure.
Yeah, hey, shout out to your dad.
Yeah, man. Y'all keep my dad in your thoughts because he went through it the other day.
I'm glad he got out of that. Right. I kind of wanted to talk to you about something. Have you watched any Atlanta yet?
No.
Okay, then we can hold off on this. It's fine. I'm only
everybody's giving me shit about that.
Okay, I'm only like 4. I just got done with episode 4, so I have like 4 more. Yes.
Okay.
So I have 4 more to go for this season. We can come back and talk about this because it's an intriguing season, which you may have heard from some of the people that are giving you shit about.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen little clips. I've had, people telling me how it's, especially Mikey, excuse me, telling me how it's a great show and I need to watch it.
Okay.
All
right. So we won't talk about anything that happens just yet until you go back and watch that. But what I will,
I can't promise you I'm going to watch it.
All right. Well, damn, they're 30-minute episodes. What are you watching right now? Because you're watching something. What are you watching?
I'm watching, it's called Pieces of Her on Netflix.
Nigga, stop playing with me and go watch Atlanta. No, I'm just, okay, what's Pieces of Her? What is it?
It's about this mom and daughter. The mom is in the witness protection program.
Okay.
The daughter doesn't know that until some shit start popping off that she doesn't quite understand. And all of a sudden the mom is like, go to this storage unit, get the car in there, drive it to Maine. I'll meet you there.
Oh, how old is the daughter?
She's like in her maybe early 20s.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what did you say this was on?
It's called Pieces. It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. And how many seasons are there?
It's just one season. It's like 8 episodes. The episodes are like maybe 45 minutes to an hour.
What episode are you on?
The last one. I'm going to watch it whenever I watch it, but I'm on the last one.
Awesome. Watch Atlanta after that. 30 minutes in there. Is it even really 30 minutes? Because I know it's on well, I guess you got the subscription, which I don't have.
Oh yeah, no, I watch.
Yeah, so you're going to be watching the commercials. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know you've seen the
Liberty Mutual.
You know what my favorite joint is right now though is the little boy, the little baby in like Italy. It's like an Airbnb commercial or something.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen that one.
How the fuck does that still? You know, it's funny because I'm always humming it, and I don't know how the song goes.
All my favorite ones are the progressives.
The progressives?
Yeah, the guy that's like, you know, people turning into their parents.
Oh, hell yeah!
Those because they're always so spot on.
Absolutely,
like, always,
absolutely.
They're always so great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So those are mine. Anyway, okay. So we won't talk about that, but let's talk about Artistry for a second. Oh, you're still trying to figure out the little boy.
Oh, mambo italiano, something like that.
Oh yeah, I definitely haven't seen that one yet. Yeah, that one hasn't come across. Maybe it's the algorithms or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe they give different people different commercials or something. I don't know. So what I will say, because I won't ruin anything for you, because I do want you to watch it. Okay. And if not, then just watch like an episode of it for me. So,
I saw like the first 2 episodes of the first season. That's all I've seen.
Oh, of it. Oh, I'm sorry. You haven't even watched Atlanta.
No, just like the first 2 episodes of the first season.
Oh, I thought you meant you haven't like caught up on the last season.
Oh, no.
You don't watch the show.
No.
That's right. Okay, no, this is clicking now. I do remember this being a thing in our group chat.
Yeah,
like people making fun of you because you haven't. Oh, then never mind. Okay, then we don't even need to be talking about none of it. Okay, this is what I'll say to you. It's a very weird. It's not a conventional show. Okay. It's done in a very free way, meaning there is a story of sorts, but it's not a very concise story, and I don't think people are watching it to follow the rise of this rapper.
Okay, it doesn't like connect or
not necessarily. There are things that connect. You have a lot of the same characters that play in the episodes, and there is a very loose storyline, meaning there is a rising rapper in this story, in this show. But that's not really what the show is about. Okay. It's really there's a bunch of social issue type of things that are brought up and funny satirical jokes that pop up, and it's to some degree it's a lot of what the Boondocks did, right? Like a lot of political and racial satire inside of it. Behind this story of a growing rapper in the regard of Boondocks, these 2 black kids being in the suburbs now, right? So what I will say, because the people that I've heard talking about it, especially this last season, are like, I don't even understand what's going on anymore. Like, I don't even understand what's going on with the episodes anymore. It doesn't even seem like he's trying to have this be a cohesive story. It just seems like social issue after social issue. It seems like you're trying to sort of cram wokeness down our throat in a sense. Right. And I think that art, I'm not going to say great art, but a lot of art is usually done in the sake of evoking emotion, in stirring thought and igniting conversations amongst people. I think that people like to, create art and then just let people look at it and see how other people feel about it. right? What
Yeah,
what other people take from it.
As an artist, you're going to have to expect everybody's going to have a different opinion, likes, dislikes.
As many different people as there are, that's how many different interpretations there are going to be, right?
Hell yeah.
And once you get down to all the different details of what an interpretation could possibly be of any significant piece of art anywhere. So I was thinking about that along with what we do here, what I focus on doing here. And I think it's a very beautiful thing to be able to show people things that they take a glance at, scoff, shrug their shoulders at, and continue to walk, but have the power or the creative ability to be able to show it to them in a different way that they've never looked at before, right? In a light that they've never seen it before. And so I think that's what a lot of great artists do. They take stuff that, like, cause there's nothing new under the sun, right? Like that's the phrase, like there's nothing new going on. And I bring all this up because I was having a conversation with a friend about life in the way that I see it, and that it doesn't seem like I live a very extravagant life at all, but yet I do have an extravagant perception of life. And when I used to talk to you about Marianne Evans, who people know as George Eliot, that wrote that book Middlemarch,
Some respect on the name.
I was trying also then to tell you about why I enjoy the writing, and that didn't quite connect either. Because you were saying, "Oh, you want to say words like fatigued, huh? When you want to talk about tired." So what you got from that is that I wanted to use.
Oh man,
I wanted to use these.
That sounds so ignorant.
Esoteric words, right? These very scholarly words, and that's what I try to do. It's not so much that as it is, in order for you to speak about anything, you have to experience it, right? Like you can speak about something loosely and you can try to conjure up ideas about something you haven't quite experienced. But the only way you can do that is if you try to experience it through your mind's eye. You have to try to put yourself in someone else's position and then try to think about it. Like we were talking about the laws and all the Texas people and all this sort of stuff. We were in the school system, right? The paying for the public school system, which makes it a private school system. So we didn't read all the articles. We don't know that stuff. So we have to try to think about what it may be like to be the person that is pro or against that thing, right?
All right.
The level of writing that she had, in order for her to write the things that she had to write, I realized that she had just such a magnified way of looking at life. Like the things that she looked at, she absorbed every little facial expression that people made, every little twitch of the lip, everything that was going on in life. She paid super sharp attention to it, because it comes through in the writing. The way that she would talk about things was so detailed and so grounded that you couldn't have possibly written it unless you saw it happen first. And to be able to have a certain sight and then express your sight that allows people to then peer through a small window that gives them, even for a glimpse of their life, a piece of your sight that allows them to see a little bit of how you see the world. That is what great art is. That is what happens when you listen to music, and the music you listen to, you don't live fucking life that way.
Nah.
But the way the music feels make you feel like you that nigga. It makes you feel like you live that life. Right? And so so when you're looking at a movie, a great director and the whole crew, great actor, makes you feel like you believe what they're saying.
Yeah.
Or what they're going through, whatever emotion it is they're trying to convey. It gives you a glimpse into what they're feeling and what they may be going through and thinking about. That's great art. And I thought about how what my favorite thing to do is, with my eccentricity, is see things in an eccentric weirdly idiosyncratic way. But
you said that word twice. What does that mean?
Idiosyncratic, just having to do with you and you only. It's a very individualistic thing, right? It's very unique to you.
Okay.
And so being able to be in tune with that and being in tune with the way that I see and perceive things, but also being able to articulate that and give people a small window to be able to peer in and think, oh, I never looked at it like that before. I never thought about it like that before. That's a pretty cool way of viewing this thing, even if it's only going to be for a few seconds of my day or my existence. I think that that's a really cool thing to be able to do. And I think that that's a lot of what Atlanta is doing.
Okay.
It's allowing people to look in and notice things that they would have never really thought about before, or been able to sit back and try to have a conversation about before. It's because it's not cohesive as a regular storyline goes for most television series. So I think that kind of is rocking people's boats. Like, what am I watching? But if you allow yourself to kind of get out of that and just watch every episode as its own episode of a sense, I think you can gain a whole lot more from it and respect the artistry of what's going on. It's pretty deep.
I'll probably watch it. I'll probably end up watching it because Antoinette's mentioned watching it before. We'll get around to it.
So that has a little bit to do with you. Well, no, a lot of bit to do with you DJing, artistry, music, and a lot of it you say has been your favorite part is the fact that you are the guy that is providing a window for other people to lose themselves in.
Yeah.
That's what people go to you for.
Right.
Like, I walk in the spot, I need the DJ to have this place rocking. Because if it's not, then it's gonna it could very well ruin my night.
Right.
Because that's what I came here to do. I came here to do a slew of things, but within those slew of things, like, those slew of things are underneath the umbrella of the DJ has to have the mood right in here in order for me to accomplish the other list of things that I want to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I kind of want to ask you in the same way that I was asking Anthony Stokes on the last podcast, how do you know that you're getting better if you feel that? Yeah, I guess that's it. Let's just start with that. Like, how do you know that you're getting better at DJing, and how does it feel when that realization comes across your consciousness?
So there was a time when, I was doing more practicing, and I'm getting back into it. And I think I kind of fell off a little bit with it just because of COVID. There weren't really any gigs happening, but I wasn't necessarily, touching up on my craft as much as I should have been. But I will say that when I do get, onto the mixer, whether I'm practicing or I have a gig, one of the things that stands out is when I find myself mixing certain songs together that I would have never attempted to mix.
Okay. Now, why would you attempt to mix them? Is it because I know you use a software that helps you out with the BPM, which if people don't know is beats per minute. Yeah. So like what songs would sound decent in transition. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It's not even always about transition. Because the BPM, obviously that helps. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You put the BPMs together within at least, a difference of at least 5, it'll still work out for you. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times when you're just using some of the accessories that you have available to you on your mixer, it doesn't even really have to go. It doesn't have to sync, right? Is what I'm saying. Right. When you have those accessories available to you, like your echoes, your noises, like I could take a song that's 100 BPM and mix it with a song that's like 75 BPM, but you kind of cloud the transition with a lot of noise, bells and whistles, things like that. I didn't always used to do that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's like when I find myself using what is actually available to me. Yeah.
Because I know there's a ton of shit going on.
There's so much to learn from any given mixer. And I'm using one of the more simpler ones that's out there. There's some cats out there using big decks.
Yeah.
Huge decks.
Oh yeah,
You know
just
what I'm
the
saying?
fact it's called a deck.
Yeah. It's people out there that are actually using vinyls like traditional DJs used to do. I'm nowhere near that. I'm not even ready to try that yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But,
would you ever go back like through the user manual? Like, does that interest you at all to like go back and try to figure out what every little thing
you know what?
means?
I'd be better off just going on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It'd be
that would work better for you.
Yes. It'd be quicker and more efficient. I can see the hands touching the buttons, you know, making things work. And I do that from time to time. I've even had people ask me to teach them how to DJ. So that, you know, that's another thing that makes me feel like I'm doing something out here.
Okay. Okay.
I've had a few people ask me like, how do I do that? Show me how do you do that? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like I said, that's another way that I feel like I'm getting better. But
because I know I had spoken to you, sorry to cut you off, but I know that I had spoken to you about this, and you were saying that there were some things, because you follow a lot of people, like DJs and all that, and you've seen some wild videos, and you've seen some battles. I haven't seen battles, but I've just seen people DJ, and that there are certain things that people are doing that are just like out of this world, as far as, I don't know, using one of these decks goes. And you feel like some of this stuff would be outside of the realm of what it is that you're trying to facilitate at any given place that you're at.
I mean, at the moment, I'm just more of the party. A lot of these people are very technical with what they do. And I mean, those are great skills to have. I just don't know that I would ever use them. So I guess I just don't necessarily try to learn them.
Okay? So you don't think that they would be advantageous for the parties that you...
I mean, some of that stuff is, but not all of it. Not all of it.
Okay.
And I also don't have some of the equipment that those people have either.
Okay. Is there any like next plateau, like any next function that you would like to learn how to learn? Like if there was a next skill to learn, what would it be?
A next skill. Well, you know what? I don't even know if it's a next skill, because I mean, we're really talking about... Well, you know what? I guess I could touch up on my scratching. For sure. My scratching is very minimal. It's not at all something I could really like, you know, like really get into. Like I could, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I could do enough to like kind of, you know, transition into a song and make that sound good. But there's some cats that's doing more scratching than DJing out here.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like that would definitely be another plateau that I would want to jump into. But I also think that a lot of it is really literally just buttons, bells and whistles. My deck it's one of the smaller decks I only have with so much capability. So I think to upgrade on certain aspects of it electronically, I probably just need a new deck, a bigger mixer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, I think about this stuff because, again, with my weird ways, when it has come to... Which is a lot of the reason why when you sent me like this list of things that this podcaster does that someone analyzed, right? Well, the reason I'd answered you that the way that I did, which is that I've been studying this for a long time, is that it's really something I've watched a ton of people, you know, try to do different podcasts. It's like clips, and I just see the way that people talk to each other and the different things that people do and why they do it that way, and then just outside of it. The communications books that I've been reading forever, it all ties into it, along with the art of public speaking and just all these different things. And for me, there's this drive where it's not a comparison with anyone else, but I have an intuition that I could be better. And I remember Duty was talking to me about the Super Bowl halftime show that just passed, and supposedly it was amazing. Some people feel like it was amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
And Dr. Dre was up there, and he had his deck, or his, I mean, yeah, I guess you would just call it that, but it was just like a triple decker. Yeah. Right? Million knobs, don't nobody know what that does unless you're in that business.
Yeah.
In that he was playing some music, and I love this type of shit. He was playing some music, and he was listening to it through his beats, and he had like this sort of like face of like dissatisfaction. And he reached over to the board and he just slightly like turned the knob a little bit to the right, and then a smile came over his face, and he kept bobbing. Did one person in that damn stadium hear a change in that music?
Probably not. Hell no.
But he did. And that's what matters to him.
Right.
He knows what it sounds like to have something be completely cohesive, for it to be perfectly mastered. Mm-hmm. And I think that as you go along with something, it's natural to want to just outdo yourself. Mm-hmm. If you know how to find that information, right? Because it's really just about information. We can all get better at everything. It's just, are you going to put in the work to figure out how to do that thing and then do that thing on top of it? Mm-hmm. So that's why I was asking you these questions. Like, are there things that you look at the board and you see dissatisfaction and you're like, nah, like I can move this up a notch. Like, I know that I can be better than what I am right now. Or have you found yourself in a place of complacency where it's like, well, I do this. Like, I do it. I mix the songs. I play the gigs, the parties, the schools, the bars, the weddings. So
I'm not complacent, because I know there's still a lot to learn. I definitely know that. So I wouldn't say I'm complacent. But it's kind of a mixture of the other side of it too. Like, I can do this. I've done enough to have recognition and to have, built up a network of people that know that I know what I'm doing, people that can count on me, people that hit me up.
Yeah.
I have recurring customers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a gig in like 2 weeks that I'm doing, for a school that, I've worked with them before. Like, I'm that guy. They hit me up. Yeah. Like, I'm the DJ. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't say I'm complacent. Cause there's still a lot out there that I don't know about. I ain't about to sit here and act like I'm the nigga. Yeah. Cause I'm not.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was trying to tell Anthony Stokes. I was just like, I'm not on the mountaintop. Like, I have work to do, but I'm making strides of getting there. Yeah. I have like conscious efforts that I take to make sure that I'm getting better at this week after week. And, shout out to him for saying, yeah, but you halfway up the mountain though. Like, you working. So that was cool. You got anything else you want to tell the people? We're a little bit over 2 hours.
Nah, man. I'm definitely ready to wrap it.
Let's get it. What's your last words for the people?
It won't be May 5th when you guys hear this, but today is May 5th. I want to give a shout out to my good friend, Sayana Hayes. Today is her birthday, and we are going to celebrate that tonight. She shares her birthday with Cinco de Mayo, so the tequila will flow.
The tequila will flow.
Also, she has an awesome YouTube channel that I think you guys should check out. It's called Say DIY. SAY DIY. She has quite a following, a couple of videos with like hundreds of thousands of views. So I think you guys should check her out. But happy birthday, Sayana.
Oh, well, since you gave a shout out, I can't be a dickhead and talk about anything else. But shout out to Thank You Virgin Vegan, back out there at the farmers markets. We love you. A lot of support to you. If you have not supported DK Comic yet from Anthony Stokes, go to DK Comic on Instagram and go to his Kickstarter page. There's also a link in the 114th episode. Go check that out. Comics in the Bing is what that episode is called. Go check that out. Go get it some copies of his comic book. Who else? Shout out to Shiffy P, just cuz. Yeah. Shout out to Shiffy P. I think he's shooting a video for Dr. Seuss and Bow Wow. And
that title still is.
And I believe that this podcast may be making an appearance in that video.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, we
had spoken about this, so I think we may be making an appearance in that video.
Hey man, this podcast is getting out there. Let's go.
So shout out to everybody out there. We love you very much. Thank you so much for listening. We haven't done this in a long time, but we love you guys.
Definitely.
We haven't done this in a little while, and shame on me. We love you guys. We love you guys a whole lot. It still means.
Do you want to tell them about your podcast appearance?
Oh yeah,
recently?
for sure. Yeah, because I guess I did it once lightly, but I should again. Isabelle Wellman has a podcast. It's also on Apple, Spotify. Yeah, and it is called Incredibelle Conversations.
Clever.
Incredibelle. Incredibelle Conversations. She's very quirky, high energy.
Yes, she is. You are young one with himself. She is young one with the earth. Absolutely.
Yeah, super heavy in astrology and clean eating.
Hey, Isabelle, I love your energy. If you happen to listen to this, I love your energy.
Yeah, great energy. So I'm doing some episodes over there. It may be a weekly thing. So there's one episode out right now. By the time this episode comes out, there may be 2 episodes, but I believe she releases hers on Mondays. Just keep checking it out. Just keep refreshing and see what's going on over there. But I'll be doing some episodes over there as well with her. And again, thank you guys very much. Thank you for coming back.
Absolutely.
I love it. Episode 115, baby.
115.
Woo!